welcome to another episode of Trailblazers Rising. I am here with a mutual of mine who I've been following. Not stalk. It's not called stalk. It's called follow. Supporting online for a hot minute. And her name is Rhia Batchelder. And she is a burnout coach and corporate wellness speaker. Rhia, tell everybody hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
We are excited to have you here. So Rhia and I, just so everybody is clear, are both not fantastic with technology. So I am just thankful that we were able to hear and press record and make it all happen. Rhia, do you think this has anything to do with the fact that you are in the Rocky Mountains and I am in Florida and I am in a big storm that just rolled in out of nowhere and you are next to the sun?
I think next to the sun, literally sun adjacent. I think that might be part of it. And also just might be the fact that we're supposed to be laying on a beach somewhere today, but we're getting through it.
Yes. I did have a very vivid dream last night and it reminded me of I could be traveling to tropical locations when I go sleepy at night based on what I remember from that dream last night. It was not the most pleasant dream, but now I know who was thinking about me and sending negative energy my way.
Oh,
so Rhia, a little bit about your story. And
yep.
I know that you are basically a corporate failure. That's what I call people that have any sort of resemblance of your story. Tell us about how you became a burnout coach and a corporate wellness speaker.
Sure. Well, it's quite the story, but I formerly worked in big law. I am still a lawyer, but I am no longer practicing. So I worked in complex commercial litigation, did some white collar investigation stuff, a really wide variety of pro bono stuff for about 6 years until I started burning out myself. At the time, I didn't really understand what was happening to me, but I felt like kind of the classic burnout symptoms, like started to get exhausted, irritable, frustrated, motivation going down, like brain fog, decreased focus, all the things. And in 2020, it started getting worse. I'm also a big politics nerd. So just like the state of our culture during that time was very intense for me. I also was like watching our democracy be on shaky ground. So much was going on emotionally, and I was just burning out and not really taking care of myself. That was a pretty classic. That was the norm for me for a really long time, right? Like I just did not show up for myself in the way that I needed to. I was always achieving, doing, kind of reaching for external validation at all times. And I eventually realized I had to start changing my life or I was going to be miserable forever. So I did. I started setting some boundaries in 2020. And the thing about big law is if you're not working 14-hour days, you are not, doing the job. You are just simply fixed. At the end of the year, me and the firm basically consciously uncoupled. They were essentially like, we know it's a weird year. If you want to come back next year and like re-up your energy and recommit to this job, get your hours back up, let us know. Otherwise, we can't have you be working like 9 to 7. That's crazy. That's too little. So I decided to walk away. And then I was interviewing and realizing how burnt out I was. And I kind of felt like I could not take another direction from another manager who I didn't respect. Like I couldn't imagine going back into a regular job. I was interviewing for all these like impressive jobs and doing well. And I was just like, I cannot see this for myself anymore. And I'd spent so long feeling miserable and feeling like my career wasn't a good fit for me. It wasn't aligned. I wasn't fulfilled, that I just felt like, kind of fuck it. Like I'm just going to go for what the absolute dream life looks like for me, even if that's scary and a total left turn. I'm just diving in. And that's what I did. So now we're here like a little over 2 years later, and I love what I do and no regrets. I think if I hadn't been pushed so far into like hating my life, I wouldn't have made such a big leap into the non-traditional career space. So thank God, I guess.
I love the non-traditional career space. I have seen people make thriving businesses out of the most out of the box idea ever. And I was like, I just saw a girl actually, and I think I followed her. So shout out if you're listening. She's got a very small following. She's just starting out, but very, very promising. And she is not like a labor and delivery nurse. She's not a doula or anything. It looks like her business is literally just coming in to the new mom's home and massaging the mom and helping, like she knows like the pelvic massages and stuff to do. This woman looked like she had a C-section. Shout out, I had 2. I know what it's like to have to recover from that while you're feeling like, oh, I have to clean my house. Oh, I have to breastfeed the baby. Oh, I have to do this. The baby is 2 days old. Go lay down. Have somebody rub you. And so this woman, she's showing like a day in her life. She shows up at the place. This is what she does. The new mom looked like she was in heaven. I was like, what a fucking business idea. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. This is a good idea. So the non-traditional business space really emerged. And I know the coaching space as well, because there's a lot of discourse in the coaching space and in the cishet men space, trying to tell female neurodivergent coaches that they're not qualified to do what it is that they do, because a man has to tell us that we are not qualified. But I would take on any single one of them in a battle of understanding neurodivergence and all of its comorbidities in women. Let's go. Anyways, neither here nor there. Don't you think it really has so much to do with generationally how we were raised, especially as millennials, of you can do anything you want. You just have to work hard. You have to hustle. You have to be skinny. You can never be fat. You cannot be broken. You have to be fixed. You have to be perfect. You have to be, of course, we're all burning the fuck out.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and especially women are burning out at significantly higher rates than men because of these reasons, right? There is just the normal work stress, the fact that we are all working too much, getting paid too little. That is happening to everyone. That's why burnout rates are incredibly high, incredibly high. But for women especially, 100%. You hit the nail on the head. We are being conditioned away from our own voices, from our own needs. We are constantly chasing external approval. We should be this. We should be this. It should look like that. You should be getting married at this age and having babies. Oh, but now you're a mom and now you're working too much. How dare you not be with your kids? Oh, you're just a stay-at-home mom. There's so much noise. And so many of the clients I work with come into me and they're burned out and they think it's solely about their job. But really, stress comes from so many areas of our life. And a large part of it is not being able to hear yourself and not being connected to your needs and not showing up for yourself, because all of this other noise that we've been conditioned with from very young ages just kind of takes over and like pulls us all from what is fulfilling, what feels good. There are a million other things that contributed to burnout too, but that's definitely a major factor.
I've found personally and professionally with all of my clients that being strong leads to resentment. And that is because I'm the strong friend, right? I don't have a friend that I call when my world's falling apart, because my world doesn't fall apart because I'm the fucking strong one. I'm the one that people come to and say, oh my God, my world's falling apart. Will you help me? And I say, yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. But because I'm that strong one, nobody ever asks how I'm doing.
I hate that. I hate that for you. I used to be similar, but now I'm both. I can be the strong friend, but I have a couple people in my life who I've like really practiced. I have to kind of push myself, because that independence
why
thing
is it so hard for us to ask for help? Like, why is it so hard? Because I know you see this in all your burnout recovery clients. It's like, okay, and I don't even feel like being a burden at this point most of the time. And my mindset shift for being the strong bitch is I no longer am interested in being strong. I'm only interested in being powerful.
I love that. And part of being powerful is owning what's hard and what hurts and being honest about it, creating space for all the sides of ourselves, right? Which is really challenging. I mean, listen, it's hard because from a young age, don't be needy. Even when you think about us in middle school dating men, if you date men, all those comments that you get, like, be a cool girl, don't tell them you have needs, like, don't be vulnerable, you have to like shut down. It all has to be on you, or you're made fun of for crying in elementary school as a young kid, or a lot of us were raised by boomers who are not very emotionally available. So there are so many reasons that we just can't, it's very uncomfortable for us to ask for what we need or even recognize it ourselves. But I truly believe a lot of these things like are skills that we can build over time. It's harder when we're adults. It's harder when we're not raised in this like super cushy environment where you do get to be your full self and be loved and supported for that. Sure. But these are skills we can practice as adults. It might take years, but like little baby steps is always my MO.
Yeah. So I was recently explaining to a client about energy and mindset and how we can recover from burnout active, right? So there is a part of burnout where like, you just got to go lay down. You're going to have a couple weeks of just go lay down. Like ideally, what would be great to heal, especially from neurodivergent burnout, which is really a compound of a lot of things that are going on, is
100%.
to be able to not have to output any sort of work, but we don't all have that privilege. So I equated it with this metaphor of, think about it like your phone can charge up while you're using it, but there's some apps that are going to make it a lot longer to get back to 100%. right? So like we can play music in the background while we're charging and that's going to be okay. But if we're trying to watch a show and then YouTube something and then do something else while it's plugged in, it's going to take a lot longer to get back to 100%.
Oh my God. Yes, 100%. And like you mentioned, so many people do not have the privilege to just take off time and lay down for 3 months like they probably need to. And I'm with you. Like if we're engaging in some real self-care, like not the commodified, like whatever bullshit that's sold to women about making yourself more beautiful.
It's a face
Real self-care.
mask and it's a
Right.
pedicure. It's
No.
like, no, it's making choices based on what future me needs.
100%. Exactly. And it's just been that term has been so warped by culture. I'm with you. And so people think self-care is, yeah, I had to put on a face mask, so I took care of myself today. It's like, okay, have you listened to your voice? Like, what decisions are you making? And then there's like active stress management. There are so many things that we know we can do that helps our body complete the stress cycle, move through stress. Usually it has to be something physical. So we're actually dealing with the stress, all encountering on an ongoing basis. And then, like you mentioned before, there's the mindset stuff. There is the self-love. It is, how much am I masking? How does that feel? Where do I get to be myself? In what spaces do I feel comfortable to being 100% authentic? There's so many areas to look at to reduce stress while still working, while still living your life. And it is possible to get better without just, laying down for 6 months and blocking everyone you know, even though that would be great.
I do recommend blocking a lot of people. I'm not going to say no to that. I am going to say block
100%.
a lot of people. And what's funny is I mentioned my dream earlier. The other day, I was talking to one of my clients about, I was like, this Aquarius full moon that is happening has made me very, very emotional. On my birth chart, my moon is in Aquarius. So I know on a full super moon that's in Aquarius, I'm going to be feeling emotions. And I was feeling emotions and I don't like those emotions. I don't want to feel them, but I was having this conversation with her. We were catching up at the Neurospicy Academy. It was not during a session because I don't give anybody my bullshit during a session. I'm here to take care of theirs.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're having this conversation. I said, I really just kind of felt like sad and not neglected, but not appreciated and down in the muck and level. And I know that when I catch myself feeling like this, somebody from my past is really missing me. Somebody from my past is really thinking about me. They're replaying how awesome we had of a time together and whatnot. Because it was always great. I promise you, if you're close with me, you're having a good fucking time. And then something's going to happen where I'm going to go, I can't be around you anymore. This isn't going to work for me. And then we're of course only going to remember the good times. It's hard to remember the bad times, right? Our brain does that to keep us safe. So, and I was talking to her about this the other day. I said, I know somebody from my past is really thinking about me. So I'm going to do a little bit of energy work. I'm going to do a little spell. I'm going to cut some energetic cords and I'm going to be okay. That was not yesterday. It was the day before yesterday. Last night I had a dream about somebody from when I was 18 years old.
Wow.
Somebody from when I was 18 years old. And we were hanging out in this dream. Like we were spending time together in this dream. And in the dream, I'm like, I don't need to be around you. I don't really like you. We haven't seen each other in a very long time. What are we doing? And in the dream, they're like, no, come on. We're just going to hang out. And I was like, all right. It was an ex. I was like, I have to go home to my husband. I don't know what you think is going to happen. Get the fuck out of here. And I woke up and I went, oh, right. So it's because I had done my spells and I had called my power back. And I was like, all right, spirit guides, go ahead. Let me know who it is. Let me know who it is. But make it so, because now that they don't have that connection to me anymore, I cut their energetic tie with me. And I made that like deal with my spirit guides a couple of years ago when I went through 2020 hit us all, right? 2020 hit us all. And I found like my spirit team, who they are, how they help me, how I hear from them, how, I can communicate with them. And I have made some deals with them just to make my life easier, right? So like one of them was when I was still working my job and trying to start my business, my GM at the time at the restaurant I was working at was like, hey, when are you going to quit? And I was like, what are you talking? I don't have the time and energy to think about this. It's like, but things are going good, right? And I was fuck, yeah, I guess I am going to have to quit eventually. Or I'm going to have to. So I just told my spirit guides right then and there, I said, make it clear when it's time to quit. A few months later, I walked in, they said, I had this thought in my brain that said, this is as good as your business gets. This is as good as your life gets if you stay in these 4 walls. I said, done, 2 weeks in, right? So I have these deals with them because I don't have the bandwidth to be spinning all those plates of like, okay, so when is it time to make the next move in my business? When is it time to protect my energy? When is it time to launch a new thing? I don't have the bandwidth for that. So I have assigned it to them. How have you been able to manage all of the demand?
All of the demands. Oh gosh, what a question. I think I'm able to manage it by like truly prioritizing myself first. Like there are many demands, but I don't wake up thinking about that because I have like really spent a lot of time focused on what matters to me and like learning the lesson the hard way too of like, this is how this shit's going to impact my health if I do not actively prioritize myself at all times. So like my mornings are sacred. I am off my phone. I am with myself. I am on a walk with my tree friends, just like being a human being existing without any obligations. And I've gotten really good at like the thought work of pulling away from like the like, here's the one thing you have to do and you have to do this today. Just like creating more space in my life so that when things aren't hitting the fan, you know, it's really crazy, I can get through it. I think so. There are a number of ways. I mean, I walk every day as my stress management. I try to meditate. I did not meditate this week. It really was like an absolutely fucking crazy week. And I think it was the astrology. But usually I'm meditating. So I like have more peace and I'm just like less responsive to all the things being put on me. And then I think just like the knowledge I have learned, I have really learned the lesson of like, I don't care. Like, it'll be okay. Like, it's just going to work out. And I am here living a human experience and I want to enjoy my life. And so that requires me to actively try to enjoy my life every day and not fall into the stress and spiral traps. And it takes work, but it's important.
It is important. What's your favorite way to meditate?
I actually have one of my friends is a meditation coach and she has a platform. So I've learned this about myself. If I am doing any sort of habit or routine, it has to be like the easiest thing possible. So she has an entire platform and I go there and I know what her voice is going to be. And it has like, it's arranged by 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. So I just do her meditations. It's Zen Gen meditation. I'll plug her. She's amazing. And I love them. I love
We'll put
her,
it in
like,
the show notes.
Okay. Amazing. She is incredible. And I do her like success, like visualizing your dream life and success meditation. I think that helps me. Like one of my confidence things is to really visualize me as my favorite self and remember that I get to show up as that person every day if I want to. And yeah, that is my favorite way to meditate. Or walking outside and staring at trees. I'm like obsessed with nature and trees and leaves, and we'll go on walks and just stare at plants. And in my neighborhood, everyone has their gardens in the front yard. There's like wildflowers growing everywhere. It's incredible. So that's another way I'll meditate. Just go stare at shit outside.
So it's funny you should talk about trees. This is some stuff that I've been doing some research into, just so everybody knows. I research at least 2 hours a day, at least 2 hours of my day. And that's that's a small day for me. That is not working. That's not working with clients or anything. Most days I spend more than 2 hours researching health and wellness topics as it pertains to entrepreneurs, neurodivergence, and a variety of topics. So the trees, one of the reasons why as humans we have such a symbiotic relationship with the trees is scientifically our poles and magnetic fields and whatnot are essentially a donut outside of us, right? So the stuff's coming in and coming back out and like the figure eight and whatnot. I will find the graphics to link with the show notes because I'm not going to be able to explain it as well as I can actually see it in my brain. But trees have that same essentially force field vortex around them. So when we get within a certain distance of a tree, you don't even have to be touching it to start exchanging your negative ions for their positive ones, right? So there's this, I don't know if I'm getting the negative and positive right, but we have these opposite, they thrive on the negative and we thrive on the positive. So going up to a tree, putting your hands on it, sitting against a tree, putting your spine on it, literally just combines your force fields and it essentially clears out your energetic field.
I'm obsessed with that because I touch trees constantly and I didn't know this, but it's just been like an instinctual thing.
They could essentially energetically and psychically be calling to you to have that relationship together.
Cute. I also have a favorite tree. He's my tree friend. I've named him Angus. I asked him what his name was, and he definitely told me Angus. So I'm here for this.
Trees do have names and they do tell psychics their names. There's certain psychics that work with trees and like will tell you what their names are, how long they've been there, who they really like to have around. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to try to hear more.
I've been doing a lot. Again, research is one of my rabbit holes lately. All of the plants, so flower bushes, everything that we get within a certain distance of when we get close by, they can see us. They have the same photoreceptors that we have in the back of our eyeballs that take what we see and turn it into the neurons and all the little electric things that make our brain go, oh, I know what that is. That's a tree. That's a trash can. That's a lamp, that sort of stuff. they have all those photoreceptors too. So when you're going on your regular WALKs, I can't say the word because of my dogs, those plants that you pass all the time, they are building a relationship with you. They know it's you. They know what you look like. They know what you feel like. And they're offering themselves to have that energetic exchange.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
I feel
That is
so
the cutest thing I've ever
nerdy. I
heard.
didn't think we were going to talk about this kind of
No.
weird. I'm very neurodivergent, guys.
I am also very nerdy, and I am also a research queen. So you're in good
Yeah.
company. I love
Yeah.
nerdy women. My number one favorite.
But
I love
what
this.
are your favorite books? What are your favorite books on this? Or if I get a book, it's to read one part of it. It's not to read the whole book. My business partner reads books. I do research. I have to find every piece of information I possibly can on whatever topic it is until I feel like I got enough in the vault that I can move on to the next one.
I love that. That's kind of what happened with burnout for me because I felt like there wasn't enough information about it and healing. And then I just went so deep into it. And then I was like, oh, I've accidentally become an expert in this subject just because
so what are your
I wanted
thoughts
to.
on Dr. Andrew Huberman? He has a podcast that is very, very popular. I've been listening to a lot of it. I will say, because I don't know how many months it's going to take for this episode to get published. I do have a sneaking suspicion in the back of my mind that we have very different ideals spiritual. And I'm really hoping that it doesn't turn out that this episode ages well and that it doesn't turn out that he's like a fundamentalist or anything like that.
Oh, geez.
But, it's just because he's a cishet man. He does have full sleeves underneath those button-down shirts. So that does bode well for him. I will say that in terms of me being able to hang out with this person if we were ever to meet. But he has fantastic research and evidence on 8-step morning routine to be able to not ever have to deal with mental health issues, physical health issues. We are chronically ill. Yes, girlies, I'm here with you. But he does have this morning routine that makes a lot of sense and does make me feel a lot better when I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
What are your morning routine must-have, non-negotiable essentials?
Yes. Okay. So I don't listen to his podcast because I don't typically like to listen to podcasts from cis white men. Not someone I'm trying to work
and agreed. Heard and agreed. Heard and agreed.
At this point in my life, like I have learned enough from white men. Like they write our history books, they write the legal books. Like I get it. And I'm mostly interested in learning from. So just putting that out there, I haven't listened to very much of it. I know it's very popular, but that's not something I'm spending my time on consuming. I do agree though, morning routines are essential. And they're usually where I start with my clients because like we have the most motivation of the day. A lot of people try to do this like, oh, when I get home from work, I'm going to start going on an hour-long walk and then painting. And I'm like, amazing, but you're not going to do that when you're burned out. You're not going to do it. And so like, don't set yourself up for failure. Let's do something in the morning when you actually have some energy. So that's where I come from it. And then like, it's a great way to set yourself up to have some self-connection. So you kind of show up for yourself more throughout the day. It's like, what research shows us. If you reach for your phone first thing, you get your dopamine that way. You're going to be chasing that same relationship with your phone the entire rest of the day. The opposite can be true too. If you create some like quiet space for yourself, you are more likely to just be checking in with yourself and your needs throughout the day. So my morning routine changes based on the season. Right now, I love waking up and going outside first thing. We know sun first thing is really good for circadian rhythm, which really helps me because I can get weird sleep schedules if I'm not really like taking care of myself super well. And I also love to meditate. It just helps me respond less to stress throughout the day, which keeps me in anti-burnout mode, which I love because as we know, being an entrepreneur is like a million tasks all at once and a million ideas and a million things you could be doing. And it's just so much pressure as well. So I have to, really prioritize my stress management. And then often I do a mindset journal thing. That was one of the first personal development tools I started with. And I love it. I write in the mindset I want for the day. I kind of manifest the things that I want to come through for me. And it helps me stay out of like the dark place in my head. I've had a lot of mental health issues myself and dealt with depression for a long time. And I know I have to be like actively engaging in positivity and like mindset work to not go to the negative first thing. So that really just helps me be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to take the day from this place. And I don't know, it's just like helps my brain set up to be the person I want to be in the day. Those are my favorite things. I think staying off your phone is essential. And if you're hearing this and you're just starting, you don't need to do an 8-step morning routine. I actually take issue usually with like the prescriptive this is what it needs to be, because people tend to not be able to do it. Then they feel bad about themselves when you're shaming yourself, when you're beating yourself up. You're not
Yeah.
going to continue trying. You're not going to continue trying. It's like if you do something for someone else and then they yell at you, you're going to be like, all right, fuck you. I'm never doing anything for you again. And the same thing is true with ourselves. If we like try to do this routine or 75 hard or something that looks
I
good.
can't stand. All right, if you have
Me too.
ADHD,
I
I'll tell
hate
you
it.
right now. I will tell you right now, if you have ADHD and you think you have autism, or if you know you have both or either, do not do hard. It is not going to work for you.
It's not going to work for anyone. Even if you get through it and you're able to do it, then you're going to go, great. I'm not going to work out for a month now because I just pushed myself so hard for 2.5 months, working out 2 times a day. I need a break. And that's not how you build habits, right? Like that is not
Yeah.
helpful
Your
to anyone, in
lifestyle
my personal
changes,
opinion.
your lifestyle changes should not dominate your thoughts. If your
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle changes are the only thing they're able to think about, you're not going to be successful, especially if you're running a business or businesses. I'm running 2 businesses. I'm running my coaching business and I'm running the Neurospicy Academy with my business partner, Christina with the blue hair. Ooh, ooh, shout out to her and the rest of the team. But if I can have my lifestyle changes take over because I'm researching lifestyle changes for my clients, right? I'm like, okay, here's the new meditation that I got, and I really, really like this one. I want you to listen to this while you go on your WALK this weekend, right? But that's my motherfucking job. My business partner doesn't have fucking time to do all that. That's why she got me, right? So you have to really remember, like, if you're going to start the keto diet, or you're going to go vegan, or you're going to start 75 hard, or you're going to do all this, it's going to dominate your brain, and then you're not going to have any bandwidth and energy left to do all the things that you need to do. You can't be counting how many calories are in the chicken breast and how many is in this and what is in that and what will happen if I do this and I take that. You won't have anything left for anything. Listen, especially my chronically ill girlies. No. What you want to do is be making choices that make you feel good. Every choice that I make is strategic, right? So I know when I wake up in the morning, I may not feel like throwing the frozen bananas and stuff and the making the protein shake with the wet chia seeds and all. I don't want to do all that, but I also know if I don't start my day with 25 grams of protein, I'm a dickhead. I'm an asshole.
Right.
I have no energy.
Yeah.
I'm cranky. I don't like people. I make poor choices when it comes to food. And I just know if I make this, I will be the best. I'll have the best chances to be my best self.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And that's what your morning should be. And that's going to be different for every single person, in my opinion. So
it's going to be different day to day.
Yes. Right. Some days you're going to be crazy and you only have 10 minutes. And it's like being able to be like, all right, that's okay. I'll take my 10 minutes and I will show up for myself. I'll do something, like you said, Melanie, that makes me actually feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm focused on. Like, that's what it should be versus this is what some influencer told me is going to change all my problems and like fix all my and make it so I never hate myself ever again. It's like we think that sounds so good and it's so enticing because then you don't have to do like the work of actually loving yourself, which is effort and challenging, and you have to feel feelings and all the things. So it's really enticing and tempting to think that like just this thing that you pluck from someone else is going to make you feel good. But ultimately, it typically makes people feel worse. A lot of clients come to me, hey, I like tried this 10-step thing. I couldn't maintain it. I feel like a failure. It's like, you're not a failure. It's just not a fit for you. Like it just doesn't work for you. That's okay. You don't need to be copying what some like dude with a podcast told you have to be doing if it doesn't feel good. It doesn't work with your lifestyle or your personality or whatever.
One word, juicing. For like 3 days, and then I was doing more research, and half of the population, I mean, there's Eastern medicine, traditional Chinese medicine that says don't drink raw, cold juice, that's too hard on your system. And then there's this Western world that's like, no, this is great. And then the other people are like, there's no fiber in it. Other people are like, well, it's gonna give me no more cancer, and it did this and it did that. And it's like, maybe we can check in with ourselves all the time.
Do you
right?
like juice?
Do you like juice? Right? Like, does this actually make you feel good? Because there is a portion of the population where fermented foods does not do you good. Right? I was at a point in my gut health a couple months ago before I started working with somebody on that, where fermented foods fucked me up and made me real not good, right? But I had to do the research, and then I had to check in with myself to make sure, like, is this actually working, right? Like, there's some people that, I mean, I found out I'm allergic to peanuts because of mast cell activation syndrome, which has every comorbidity to do with ADHD, autism, mast cell activation syndrome, POTS, and Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility. I essentially got 5 diagnoses in one when I did all of my research and said all of these problems that you have to go to 20 different doctors for is all just from this one main. And if I can do all this with my lifestyle, I can limit what happens. Right. So like when I eat peanuts, I don't go into anaphylactic shock. Like my throat is not closing, but anaphylaxis can actually manifest as doom thoughts, right? The world is ending. And it's because your brain is reacting, going, no, attack, fuck, right? So you're getting these feelings of impending doom, but your throat's not closing up. But I knew that I was allergic to these peanuts because as I was starting my walking journey, I would flare up. I would get covered in hives if I had a handful of peanut or like a scoopful of peanut butter or a handful of peanuts before a walk. My body, from all the friction of like your shorts moving on you and whatnot, and having these peanuts, I was just covered in hives. I had to turn around one day and went, oh. So then I had to look at every food that I was eating. I was like, how is this going to make me feel? Because it gets worse if you're stressed out. It gets worse if you're super excited, right? So like all of this research, like you said, on burnout really doesn't exist. So it's up to people like you, people like me to say, all right, I'm working with people that have all these symptoms and these are the things that we're doing to make them better.
Yeah. I had no idea that being allergic to something can cause doom thoughts, but it makes so much sense. Blew my mind.
The feelings of impending doom, I believe, is what the scientific description is. Feelings of impending doom. And I said, bitch, who hasn't? I was having that on the first mile of every walk I was on. I was like, my brain was telling me, turn around, you're going to break your ankle, you're going to be 5 miles away from home, and you're going to have a broken wrist, then somebody's going to take you and they're going to, and it's because I'm eating peanuts.
Terrible. Yes. That is terrible. I carry a really fancy taser to help with some of those doom thoughts.
I also try and remind myself, like, you're 37 and you're not
right.
You have pink and purple hair and you are not clear. Like, it's going to be hard to break you. You look hard to break. Like, just remember, you're not quite the demographic that they're going for anymore. I know I still feel 16 in my brain, but, trying to come back to reality is an important thing for myself as well. So what would you say right now for anybody listening who is a busy working entrepreneur or in the corporate world, woman, lots of demands, lots of things that her energy and focus is being pulled to, and really just wants to start cultivating more control so that they can get out of this cycle of working themselves to the point of burnout?
Yeah. I think, oh gosh, there's so many answers to this question. And like, if I was in a client session, I'd have a million more questions for the person to flesh out exactly what's going to work best. But I would say the no phones first thing. Like, it just sends your brain into other people's worlds too much. Like, stay in your own world for a little bit in the morning. Stay like in your own space versus jumping in immediately to, this is what I need to do. And you also need to create space in your life where you're not running through that mental stew. Because I know so many women, especially, we have so many things to do at work. And then it's also the home and it's friends and it's birthday parties and gifts and who needs what from me. And it can be constant. So if you are in a place where you're not having any breaks from that, we got to figure out a solution to that. Is it you go to kickboxing class? I have a mom of 2 little kids as a client, and when we first started working together, she needed something that totally took her out of her mental to-do list, and going and punching some shit was the number one thing that worked for her. She's like, I can't think about anything else. I'm exhausted. I'm moving through some like rage I have that I didn't know was there. It feels good. I feel less snappy. I know I get this time to go hit some shit when my kids are running around making me crazy in the morning. So like creating some sort of space for yourself where you get to just not think. And it could be doing something really physical if you're really challenged with the not thinking portion. But like, you need breaks to just not be doing everything for everyone, I think is essential. And like developing yourself outside of being the giver I also think is really important. So like, if you go to a park for 30 minutes, if you have kids, hand off your kids, leave the house, go to a park for 30 minutes and just sit there and exist as a person again without doing anything. Like, it can be uncomfortable at first if you're just starting this. But that has to start happening so that you can keep your raft afloat. Otherwise, it's going to start like you're going to get holes in that. Burnout is going to come for you. I know like it won't happen to me. I can handle this. I got it. Because I did that until I was in a pit that was 10 feet deep. And then I was like clawing my way out being like, what the hell just happened to me? So create that like space and start doing like little things that are realistic, that feel good just for yourself, where you're not producing anything for anyone else for a little bit of time each week. And then you can start building from there.
Yeah.
I think the key is always like doing something that feels realistic, that feels good. So you keep doing it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the most surprising thing that happened to me and that I see a lot of my clients go through is realizing when you're on a personal development journey, how many people are not going to come with you. Right. So like,
Oh my God. Oh
you can
God. Yes.
take the perspective, that initial perspective, especially when we've been exterior seeking validation, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
all of your validation comes from outside. Once you really start
Yep.
going within and being like, oh, okay, well, this is all the stuff I'm learning. And people go, oh, you don't drink alcohol anymore. Oh, do you think you're better than us? Oh, you meditate every day. Oh,
Right.
do you think you're better than us? And your light that you start to increase and start shining on people just starts exposing the areas of where they're dissatisfied, where they're not willing to put in any work, and where they don't want to take a look and like start taking any accountability. So naturally you guys just have to separate, right? So I was so surprised in
Yes.
the beginning who all wasn't going to go with me, and now I like to take on the mindset of like, nobody's welcome to go with me if they're not happy about the path. Like, I'm a
Right.
Taurus. I will create the path. I'm going the way I'm going. I'm going at the speed I want to
Mm-hmm.
fucking get there. I don't need directions. And you can even hop on my back and like go in the same, but you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me I'm doing it wrong. You can't say we got to turn somewhere. Like, I'm only interested in this. You can come with me, but I'm only interested in this. And now I talk to one person in real life who's a friend, and all my other friends are, because, we talked about masking a little bit. It's like, I'm no longer willing to be a person that does emotional labor. That's manipulation of the people around me. Like, if you're not comfortable with the fact that I'm like stimming and I have to rock back and forth to regulate myself, if that makes you uncomfortable, I'm out.
Yeah. And that to me is self-care, like making that decision of here's what I require from people around me. I think that's something too all women should be doing. What are your standards? Like, what do you need in every situation, in your relationships, in your friendships, at work, with your self relationship? Like, what do you need? Because most of us we don't ask ourselves that question. Like we talked about the conditioning of look outside of yourself constantly and fit into the group. Like, how can you make everything cohesive? How can you make everyone comfortable? Then it's getting to that place, which most of us get to in our 30s if we're lucky. Because as you mentioned, a lot of people are still on autopilot. A lot of people don't want to live intentionally. They're uncomfortable. And if you start showing up really intentionally, doing reflection, deep reflection on your needs, like communicating more, some people are going to be like, hell no. That is so overwhelming to me. I want to live in my little autopilot life. I want to never check in with myself. And the fact that you're doing this and you're doing it out loud is upsetting me. Or I feel the need to be masking. So the fact that you're not masking is making me feel threat or whatever it is. And I think part of self-care is learning to step away from people, who don't fit you anymore. And that definitely happens when you start showing up for yourself and doing personal development. I've had many shifts in friendship circles along my like healing journey.
Yeah, people just fall out. This person, I saw this on social media the other day, so I was like, this is really good. I'm going to post this on my threads. And it says, if they cannot handle your no, they were comfortable abusing your yes. Turn the knife counterclockwise and throw some salt in there, please, because what?
100%. I mean, this is true even at work. I was talking to a client this week about interviewing to prevent burnout. And so a lot of what I do with professionals is like, okay, let's flesh out what works for you at work and what doesn't. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't just have to go to each job and jump from job to job and accept whatever is given to me. And it's like, no, I don't want you doing that anymore. I want you making choices based on you. Everyone has different stressors. Everyone has different vibes that work for them, dynamics, tasks, all those things. And then in interviews, you can go in and ask them questions that are really going to give you the information you need based on what we know about what you need at work. And one of my clients this week was like, is that allowed? And it was the same idea. It's like, if someone's going to freak out because you ask them to tell you about their management style, they are going to abuse you in that role.
Yeah.
Like, you are never going to be listened. Your needs are not going to matter. Your feedback is never going to be welcome, and you will likely burn out. So now you have that crucial information. It's like learning to ask for what you need, say the no, do those things is going to put you in a position where more people are going to say no to you or like withdraw from you. But that helps you flesh out what is for you and what is not. It's like learning to be okay with the discomfort of people falling off, of like you not getting every single gold star from work or every single job offer, but knowing that by showing up that way, by being your full self and owning your shit, you're going to attract the things to you that you want. And so it's like hard to start doing, but then you ultimately see the people who are falling away, the things that are falling away were never yours. They were never meant to be in your life. And it feels so much better when you can get past the like fear. Because I know a lot of us deal with people pleasing, that fear of like, oh, well, what if they have a reaction to what I say? Who cares? Everyone's allowed to have a reaction to what you say.
Yeah, that's
And then
none of
you
your
get to
business.
decide.
That's none of your
Yeah,
responsibility. What somebody else
it's
does,
not.
what somebody else says, what somebody else feels, that's none of your responsibility.
Can't be. How exhausting to carry that. Then we're never going to get to be ourselves. And I know, like, again, I say this all the time. People pleasing, perfectionism, all that shit is conditioning. Like those are not innate
Yes.
qualities. None of us come out like people pleasing babies. No, we scream, we cry, we learn to take up space, we ask for what we need, and then we are taught that that's too much. And I think
Yep.
what's really cool about women right now as a collective is I think we're really starting to untangle that and go, wait a minute, no. I don't care if you think I'm too much. I don't care if I've been told I've been too much for my whole life. I'm still going to show up exactly as I am and see who likes me and then be with those people or see
Yeah.
what jobs fit and go there or see who's impressed by me and work with them. You know, you don't have to know if you are being your full self, if you are being a powerful woman today, you are going to piss some people off. And like that
Yeah.
just has to be okay with you. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm sure you know this, like just from being online, that people have towards women with opinions is insane. Just truly.
It really, really, I have a group of cishet white dudes that attack me in my videos a lot. And they go, you charge too much money. You're not qualified. And I'm like, okay, buddy, I'm a business mindset coach with a business degree. They go on my website and they read everything and then they choose what to pay attention to and what to quote. And they're, oh, you take advantage of people with ADHD. And listen, buddy, I am an ADHD autistic person with a lot of other comorbid diagnoses that I don't even feel like diving into in front of you because I don't have to explain myself to you.
Yeah.
And I've done 5+ years of research in my field, and I've created programs that provide valuable transformation for a specific subset of humans. I don't work with men, so you're not welcome here. They don't like it when you tell them that. And I have completely decentered men from my world. And I've completely decentered neurotypical holistic people to the point where I go out to the grocery store and I'm like previously thinking maybe everybody is neurodivergent. And then I go to the grocery store, I go, no, you're not. Get me back in my bubble. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be around these people. No. And there's so many lessons to learn. It's like, if you're bitching about anything that I do, take your time and energy and apply it to your own life first and foremost.
Oh my God, I know. It's hilarious. Like I would never waste my time commenting negative things on other people because I have a full life and I'm busy changing the world. So best
And
of
it
luck
doesn't
to you.
make any
It's
sense. It's
hilarious
such
to
a
me.
waste of time that you're doing your research
Oh,
on me.
100%.
You're doing your
Right.
research on me. And then as soon as I comment something back to you, you shut the fuck up because you don't know what to say because the one puppeteer master is going after all of us ADHD coaches, who I've blocked, of course, only says these couple of things. And then when I say, well, what about this? I go, so I had one guy, a fellow ADHD coach who has like 600,000 followers. He commented on something the other day. He goes, oh, $1,000 a month is actually really good if there's this and this and this involved, which again, I appreciate the support, but because it's coming from a man and because the next thing out of the troll's mouth was, oh, but she's not qualified. And I just went, let them have this conversation. Let them have this conversation. I don't have to tell, like every time I say I only work with women who own businesses, that shuts them right up. Because how can I take advantage of somebody? I can't tell somebody, pay me all this money and work with me every single day and work with me weekly on our calls and do all. I can't make somebody do that. What?
Right. I know. It's
What?
exhausting. What?
Like, what
And
are
I
we
do
spending
think
our time on, right? Get out of your mom's
what
basement.
are 100%. They like to attack me and tell me, especially like they attack my voice a lot because I know I have a girly voice. I have a lot of speech impediments and sometimes I lisp a
Speech
little.
impediments
And
unite. Yes.
thank you. And so I get a lot of attacks of, yeah, what a grift. You're not smart. You're so stupid. Like an executive would ever work for you. And it's hilarious because I got a full ride scholarship to a top 5 law school. I worked at the very top law firms in the country. I worked on front page news cases with millions and billions of dollars at stake. I was in rooms with FBI and DOJ for my clients. Like, you want to pretend like I'm not smart is absolutely hilarious. Like, you can call me other things, but please, objectively, like that is untrue. But then they'll come for you about, I get comments on my boobs all the time and how that like somehow interacts with my intelligence, which is infuriating to me. It's actually the 1 year anniversary of me posting a TikTok where I was walking and like kind of recorded myself in a workout top, sports bra, like totally normal outfit. I am kind of a petite person and I have boobs. I do. And so, sometimes they move when I walk as well,
Yeah.
because that is the way that our bodies work. And it went so viral, it got millions of views, but like, because so many men were just commenting, boobs, 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 boobs. They just commented that a million times. And then like, you did this on purpose. You knew exactly what you were doing. Like, you're a slut, like all this stuff. And it's like, this is the way I walk around in the summer heat. This is just a tank top. This is my physical appearance. I did not do anything to it. I'm just moving around the world. And I have just found that no matter what, they want to cut you down. I found this in my professional life too.
There
They're
are
just
people
like
that
trying to
wake up
discredit
to
you.
scream at, there are people that wake up every day and decide what stranger they want to scream at on the internet today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're especially threatened that when they see a woman like with strong opinions daring to take up space online. How dare you state your opinions to the world? I had another guy comment this week, be like, you sound like you have a God complex because you ended your sentence with so. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you here?
Like, if you don't like me, you can just stop commenting on all my shit and you'll never see me again.
Just scroll, baby. Just scroll. And also, you're commenting on the algorithm's going to show you more of my stuff. And also, thank you for the engagement, because it does help me find other people. But it just is ridiculous. And the men attacking you is so real, and it's so incredibly frustrating. And it's just like, yeah, if you were actually successful, you wouldn't be online trolling women you don't know. And we know that about you, so you're actually embarrassing yourself.
It's the thing. It's like, if I'm down here fighting the bull, I'm on stage in the Coliseum. I can't hear or care about what's happening in the nosebleed section.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my concern. I'm only interested in other matadors.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to fight back, because you're like, well, this is objectively untrue, and here are my qualifications, and you want to like say that. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I just like laugh at them. But I'm also learning to just be like, I can't hear you. I don't have time for you. I don't have space for you. You can comment, and I'll leave it, because it helps my engagement rate, and hopefully this video will reach more people I actually care about. But it is challenging sometimes, because you're just like, I know I could eviscerate you, but maybe I shouldn't waste my time on that.
Maybe that is the universe saying, hey, here's your opportunity to really level up quantum shift. Here's this same really piss you off opportunity and situation scenario, and you can choose to act differently, where you just look at it and go, this person must have the worst fucking life. I'm going to keep moving.
It's true. They probably do. One of the guys who was commenting just posted a bunch of pictures of pocket knives, and I was like, that's scary. So I blocked him.
Actually, every time I get a new follower, I do check them for the most part.
Oh, do you?
I do spend some time each day for the most part going through my followers. Not if I have something really growing viral, it's obviously not possible, but I haven't been trying to grow at a viral rate for a very long time. So I am able to control it, and I totally restructured and repositioned my company in the past like 8 months or so. I had like the time, because I wasn't posting on social media so much. But if it's a man and he does not have LGBTQI plus stuff on his thing, I block them.
Yeah. So, men typically, they'll follow me when they see the burnout stuff, and then they unfollow me. They're like, oh no, this is not for me.
I won't do any sort of man that does not. But if you're gay or part of the LGBTQI plus community, I'm here for it. But if you're a straight cis het dude, you're gonna get blocked. Just so we know.
I have a couple straight guys who are actually the best. They just like always are like, go off, queen. They're just like sending me little affirmations throughout the day. They're like, I think they're called reply guys. And I actually really enjoy them. And they're never weird about it. They're never weird about it. They're never like asking for too much or like trying to meet me. They're just like, wow, this is awesome. Love this. Heart eye emojis. And I'm just like, thanks, guys.
What different? There's like, they comment on your boobs. They comment on my face. I get people that go, oh my God, your face. And I'm like, look at it. Or sometimes I comment back and I go, you like I just try and act so stupid, like I don't know what they're saying, because they're treating me like I'm so stupid. I'm like, oh, why can't I be a business coach, a business mindset coach? Why not? What trainings do I need? What kind of degree do I need? What can you tell me? Can you fix the problem, sir? And then they get really pissed off. They can't fix the problem.
Yeah, they just want to be mad. They just want to.
They really are committed to their misery. Yeah, committed to their misery.
They're committed to their misery, and they're committed to the theory that like if they feel more superior than women, then they're going to feel successful or manly or whatever it is.
I think they feel like they deserve to be more relevant than women. Like, I think they inherently
100%.
think that they're better than us and that we should know that.
Yeah, I don't think it's inherent, but I think it's 100% conditioning, especially in our culture. I mean, like, run like a girl.
Inherent because
like,
of the conditioning. It's like
Right,
expected
right.
at this point. The same way it's expected that we take care of
100%.
everybody around us except for ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, men are taught that women are silly, women are like emotional, women are too much and blah, 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 and you shouldn't run like a girl or throw like a girl or whatever. And they get that told that from a really young age. I mean, it starts at like 6 or 7 years old, and then they're told that through their whole lives. And then you have to be able to collect women to be a man. Like, you have to be able to collect them and not care about them and all of this stuff. And it really has just put us in a place where we are not compatible in so many ways. We are just not seeing each other. But yeah, I think men especially just don't see us as full people. A lot of men, not all men, like, sure, whatever. I'm sure we'll get that comment, but a lot of men do not see us as full people and do not. And so it's really like uncomfortable to them when we're stepping outside of what we're supposed to be, that little like Barbie box, so to speak, to be culturally relevant at this moment. But when we step outside of that, they're like, no, 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 get back in your box, shut up and be cute for me. Otherwise, my worldview is being threatened, and for some reason, my masculinity by this random stranger online. Yeah.
That part. Some stranger online has threatened my masculinity. Can you imagine being so fragile?
No, I cannot. It really is so much. Them and the boomers. Boomers are also really fragile. I know they like to call us snowflakes, but they're always in my comments being like, people just don't want to work hard these days. And it's like,
I don't. You're right. I don't want to work myself to the point of getting sick.
Right. Yeah. Maybe we don't all want heart attacks in our 60s, you know?
I don't.
Is that the worst thing that's ever happened?
Is that the worst thing? Rhia, it has been so incredible and amazing having you on the show. It will be in the show notes, but I want you to go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you on socials, how they can work with you, all that good stuff. And then I will have you leave us with words of wisdom for all the wonderful people that are listening.
Excellent. You can find me at Rebuild with Rhia, RHIA. As we were talking before we started, my full name is Rhiannon, like the Fleetwood Mac song. But I go by Rhia. It's the best namesake that's ever existed. So you can find me there on TikTok and Instagram. And my website is .com. I have a number of offerings. If you're dealing with burnout, you want to set up habits and routines, you want to understand stress management, how to reduce stressors at work and otherwise, how to find aligned jobs, how to build confidence. I do all of those things. So just DM me and I can send you a service guide and we can talk more about it. And then words of wisdom. I think my words of wisdom today will be, it's much easier to prevent burnout than it is to heal from it. So even if you're not there already, prioritizing actually taking care of yourself, learning what fulfillment feels like to you, learning what your needs are in all areas of your life, that is crucial for all of us trying to live a happy, well lifestyle. And it's just so much easier to do ahead of time. So start now. But if you get into the pit, you can also climb your way out. I promise it'll come back.
We'll throw you a rope. Yay! All right. Thank you so much for
We'll
being
throw
here.
you a rope.
I love you all equally and for different reasons. Remember to do your research and take care of yourself, and we'll talk again really soon. Okay, bye.
Bye, everybody.